Howdy folks, I gotta go to a party this weekend. It's been a while since I've been to a party, but as the cocktail guy, in our friend group, I've been tasked with bringing a cocktail. Now, when I get into these situations, I like to make punch. If you make a punch for a party, you don't spend the whole party, shaking up drinks and whatnot for people, and then you have more fun at the party. Furthermore, I'm gonna make a milk punch. See, for this punch, I'm gonna use a bunch of odds and ends. So I have a bunch of bottles that just have a little bit left in the bottom, and it really would be nice to clear those bottles out of the bar to make room for something new. Now, mostly these bottles have been sitting around because they're kind of hard to deal with. They have a funny flavor, or they're a little bit strange or hard to use in a cocktail. So I'm just gonna dump them all in the punch, and then when you milk wash it, it really takes the edge off of those funny flavors. It rounds out the sort of harsh edges of a spirit that maybe isn't so great. Or maybe it is great and you just don't know what to do with it. The point is, I'm gonna make a strongly flavored, sort of maybe not very popular punch. I'm gonna milk wash it, and then it's gonna be delicious. Now, this party is Star Trek themed, and since I always water down the punch, you have to put in a lot of, weak element of water, basically, when you make punch, just to make it more palatable. So I thought, for this one, since it's Star Trek themed, I'm gonna make some tea from Butterfly Pea Flowers, which come out very blue. I'm gonna add it to the punch at the end to dilute it. Hopefully that's gonna give me a blue punch that I can pretend is Romulan ale. Now, I don't know how this is going to come out. It's possible to come out more green. If it comes out more green, we'll call it Saurian brandy. But you know what? Let's just make this punch and see how it goes. So let me just go over the basic framework of how I make punch. We're going to start with an oleosaccharum. We're going to peel a few lemons, and I decided to also do a grapefruit today as well. We're gonna cover the peels with white sugar. I used about a cup of sugar. You just basically wanna cover the peels. We're gonna let this sit for a couple of hours. The sugar will suck the citrus oils out of the peels and into the sugar and give you a sort of juicy lemony sugar. I had about 100 grams of peels, but the ratio of sugar to peel isn't critical. Now, after an hour or two, you'll have this lemony sugar, and what we're going to do is dissolve the sugar using some hot tea. So step 2 is to brew some very strong black tea. I'm going to use this black lavender tea that we don't love drinking. I only have 3 bags left, so I'm going to use that up and make some room in the cabinet. I like to use black tea, but any tea will do. I've tried green tea in the past, but that green tea flavor doesn't really carry through to the punch. I'm going to do 3 tea bags and probably a cup and a half of water. I'll let it sit for probably 7 minutes. I am oversteeping this tea, but we want maximum tea flavor. And in this case, the milk wash should eliminate any bitter flavors from the oversteeped tea. We're going to use the still hot tea to dissolve the sugar. And once that's done, we're going to go ahead and juice the peeled fruit. You are going to want to strain your juice. You don't want a bunch of citrus pulp floating around in your punch. Now it's time to add the booze. You could just use 1 bottle of the booze of your choice, but I'm going to use some odds and ends. Ask anyone who makes punch at a bar, and they'll tell you it's a great way to use a booze that you're not selling. Now, I got some pretty good rum here, some OK Agricole that I don't really use. Got a couple of weird gins. I'm going to throw in some rum fire, and I thought I'd throw in some Ancho Reyes as well. I've had this bottle for quite a while, and I don't use it very much. Also, it's my punch, and there's no rules. Now, I'm making this punch pretty strong because I want to have room to dilute it with my blue tea later. Now, it is time to milk wash. I shoot for a ratio of approximately 4 parts punch to 1 part milk. You want to pour the punch into the milk and not the other way around. The lemon will curdle the milk, and once those curds form, we will run it through a coffee filter. It is kind of a gross, curdly kind of goop. That's what you want. The first bit to come through the filter will be cloudy still, so be ready to switch vessels and dump that cloudy bit back into the curd filter. This does take quite a while, so patience is required. Once we have our clear punch, I'm gonna brew up some Butterfly Pea Flowers. Add that in, and look at that. Romulan ale. All right, well, it came out to be more of a purple. I guess I should have steeped the pea flowers a little bit less long. Maybe it would have been more blue, but either way, I'm still called it Romulan ale. It's close enough to Romulan ale. The party was a hit. The punch was a hit at the party. So big success all the way around. And that's how you make Romulan ale. Hopefully that was fun and or informative. If it was, go ahead and like and or subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Brought you this bottle of Romulan ale. I fail to see what's amusing about contraband spirits.
That's hilarious.